On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Terralta 110 Proof Blanco. Right here on the Tequila Hombre, coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Terralta 110 Proof Blanco. I'm going to give you a little information about the brand, but also going to do something a little different when it comes to talking about how this tequila is made. I'm going to actually take you on a tour of the distillery. I've got some photographs from when I visited there, so I've got some great stuff to show you. This should be exciting and very informational video for you, so make sure you hang on and check out that portion. But right now, let's get into a little bit about this brand. Okay, so a little bit about the brand. People have been seeing it showing up on shelves and people talking about it online on Facebook and such. And a lot of people have been saying, well, did you see this new brand, Terralta? Well, it isn't a new brand. It's actually been around for a little while. It was actually created in 2015. But the importer that brought it into the U.S. originally didn't do a very good job of getting it to distribution throughout the U.S., so it was only available in select areas and was actually kind of hard to get a hold of because it wasn't managed very well. Well, now it's with a new importer, and they're doing a good job of getting distribution throughout the United States, so you'll find it in more places and you'll see it available in more areas throughout the U.S. Okay, so that's a little bit about the brand. Let's get into how this one's made because there's some special things about that as well. All right, Terralta comes out of NOM 1579. The name of the distillery is El Pandillo. Yes, it is the same distillery as G4 and Pasote, another brand called Volans. It is located in the highlands of Jalisco in the city of Arandas. Out in front of the distillery, when you pull up, you'll see this Tahona stone. And this Tahona stone has been in the family for multiple generations and was actually used as early as the Mexican Revolutionary War by members of the family. The master distiller for Terralta brand, as well as for all the other brands that come out of El Pandillo, is master tequila maker Felipe Camarena, who we also refer to as the mad scientists of tequila. And as we go into the distillery, you'll understand why. All the agave that are used for this brand, as well as all the brands at El Pandillo, are grown in the highlands in Arandas by Felipe Camarena. So it is highland agave from Los Altos. Now, after they harvest the agave, they then cook them in a stone oven known as an horno that you see here in the picture. Now, what Felipe has really done with this oven is kind of pretty incredible in that he set it up so the steam actually circulates through the oven, so it cooks everything pretty evenly throughout instead of from the bottom like most hornos where it works its way from the bottom up. So everything gets cooked pretty evenly and pretty well throughout the entire horno. On the bottom of the horno, you'll see these rows here that he set up. And what this basically is for is to catch some of the really sweet, juicy drops that drip off when the agave are cooking, so we can actually use that as well in the fermentation process. After the agave are finished cooking, they're then shredded. There's a shredder actually attached to the Tahona area here. Now you'll see that in the other picture we switched to. And the Tahona is actually a recycled steamroller wheel that Felipe built. It's called Felipe Stein, and it is world famous for his ingenuity in creating this Tahona wheel that he uses to crush his agave fibers to get the sugars out. Now in this picture on the left-hand side, that is the shredder, which they call Igor. And Igor shreds the agave into fibers, which go into this canal that you see here. They spread it all out, and they spray it with water, and then they slowly roll Felipe Stein over the top of the agave, crushing the agave fibers and getting those wonderful sugars out of the agave. The Tahona moves very slowly. Those are each, I believe, 1 horsepower motors on each side. And I'll show you a quick little video of how fast it moves. All right, and here's a very short video of Felipe Stein in action, as if it were working the Tahona with agave in it. Now, if there was agave in this, the wheel would actually be turning as well. Now, at the end of the Tahona, there's this trap, this tank area, where as they're crushing the fibers and the juices are getting extracted from the agave fibers, they then will travel down the canals on the side of the Tahona area and go into this tank. And this is also where the juices from the Horno go, and they're collected in here. And then when they're finished with the crushing, it is then pumped from here into the fermenters. At El Pandillo, they do use stainless steel fermentation tanks. They've got rows of them that they use. Now, here are the rows of the fermenters. Now, some interesting stuff that Felipe's done too is all the water that is used in El Pandillo is actually recycled and used for many different things, from keeping the temperature on the fermentation tanks at temperature during when it's colder out, to cleaning, as well as to watering the landscape there at El Pandillo. So no water is ever wasted here. And you can see all the piping systems and stuff for everything that brings the mosto into the tank, as well as underneath for running water to heat the fermenters when the temperature needs to be kept at a warmer temperature than the atmospheric temperature, like in the wintertime. After it is done fermenting, it is then distilled twice using copper pot stills. Felipe has 6 copper pot stills, and after fermentation is gravity fed down to the stills. He doesn't use any pumps for that, just uses gravity. Fills up the stills, and then if you look in the center, you'll see some stainless steel pots. Those are filled with cold water in the top, and then as the distillate comes out of the top of the still through that copper pipe that goes into the top there, it goes through a copper coil inside the pot, which cools the distillate down, and turns it from vapor into a liquid. And then it is caught in the lower pot right below there. You'll see in the center, there's another pot underneath those pots, and that's where they catch the distillate and they do the proofing. They check the proof of it. With the 110 Terralta that we're using now, it isn't proofed down. It is collected at 110 proof and then sent to bottling. When the distillate is sent off to be bottled, it is bottled in a clean room under sanitary conditions, and then hand labeled, packaged up in cases, and sent off to market where we can buy the tequila. Well, there you go. Not only did you find out how this tequila is made, but you also got a tour of El Pandillo. If you have any questions about El Pandillo and how they do things there, feel free to comment below, and if I can answer the question, I will. If not, I will get you an answer. Now, some additional information about the brands and the science and mad scientist aspect of Felipe Camarena is he likes to play with water. Now, with this Terralta 100 proof, actually with all the whole Terralta line, he uses different water for this than the other brands, in that he's drilled down 140 meters into the ground, which you multiply that by 3, that's what, 300, 400 feet deep into the ground, to get the water out for this particular brand. For the other 2 brands, he does G4 and Pasote. For G4, it's a 50-50 mix between rainwater and spring water. And with Pasote, it's a 60-40 with 60% spring water, 40% rainwater. And with this one, he went 100% deep well water. So to kind of see the difference in the water flavor, I'm also going to do a side-by-side with this after we do the tasting with the G4 110 proof version that I've got when I visited the distillery from Felipe, so we can see what the difference the water makes between the deep well water and a 50-50 mix of rainwater and natural spring water. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting of this tequila and see what it's all about. All right, going up top to the pour cam, I am using the Denver and Liley glass that I've really grown fond of lately. I really do enjoy these glasses. All right, these were meant for agave, and they can do high proof and regular as well. So we'll go ahead and pour this into the glass. All right, so there we go. Let's go up top and take a look at it and see what it looks like in the glass and do our tasting. Okay. Taking a look at this in the glass, it coats the glass very nicely. You can see the legs and tears just starting to form on it there. So it's going to have a nice, oily, buttery mouthfeel to it. Looking at the tequila itself, it is crystal clear, looks beautiful. All right, let's see what we get on the nose on this. Definitely picking up the minerality from the water coming through on this. Definitely picking up really nice, like sweet cinnamon and baking spices coming through from the cooked agave. Has a nice citrus smell to it as well. And it's really bright and clean on the nose. It smells really nice. It's got some really nice aromas to it. Smells great. All right, so let's see how it tastes. Has beautiful buttery mouthfeel to it. Really oily and viscous. Coats the mouth really nicely. Really strong baking spices and sweet cinnamony goodness coming through. Definitely picking up a minerality from the water on it. Adds a little bit of tartness to it. So it's kind of getting like a green apple tartness, but also like sweet citrusness coming through on it. And it finishes with just a light sweetness on the tongue. And it's got a fairly nice sweetness to it. Now this is 110 proof, so it's pretty aggressive, and you can definitely sense the alcohol in it when you're sipping it. But the flavors on this are just really robust and really beautiful. I really do enjoy this tequila. I highly recommend it. I'd rate this one 5 agave because it is just fantastic. So we'll give this one 5 agaves. But let's see how this compares with the G4 110 proof. All right, so grabbing the G4 110 proof, I'm going to pour it into this glass here. And we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the two and see what kind of difference the water makes in them. So this is the G4 110 proof. This is the Terralta 110 proof, okay? So let's see what the Terralta, definitely picking up the minerality on it. You get the cooked agave. Smells good. All right, let's see this one. Definitely picking up the cooked agave from this. It doesn't have the mineralness that this does. A little softer on the nose on this one, but still very robust on the nose, and more of a fruitiness, I think, coming through on this one than on the Terralta. All right, so let me rinse my palate off. And let's see what we get on this. Nice, silky, beautiful Cooked agave coming through. Really nice sweetness that really comes through on this. Picking up definitely the fruitiness, citrus, grapefruit. Yeah, definitely loads of the baking spices and the cinnamon coming through. A little bit of like a grapefruit tartness coming through as well. Citrus, like oranges coming through as well. Really nice complexity of this one. And that is the G4 High Proof. All right, let's clean the palate off. See what we get on the Terralta. Really strong flavors on the Terralta as well. The mineralness has more of a bite to it than the G4 110 proof. I think the G and the flavors on this, it's got a really like a mineral bite to it on the Terralta, where the G4 seems to like meld together a little better. It's not as harsh of a bite. Let's try the G4 again. Yeah. The Terralta definitely has more of a bite to it. And I'm picking up more of the fruit flavors and the agave sweetness from the G4 than I am from the Terralta. So for me, I prefer that. I prefer the G4 110 proof over the Terralta 110 proof. But the Terralta 110 proof is really good. Now, if you're looking for something that's, as some of you may say, smooth, where it doesn't have a bite to it, the Terralta 110 is not going to be a good choice for you, as it is aggressive. But it's aggressive in a good way. It's not like bad harshness. It's just aggressive on the flavors and aggressive on the minerality, where it has a little bit of a bite to it. I don't mind that every once in a while. But between the two, the G4 110 proof and the Terralta 110 proof, I picked the G4 110 proof as a clear winner for me. Be interested to see what you think if you try them both. So there you go. There's the review. If you like the information that I shared about the Terralta and El Pandillo, give me a big like there below. If you have any questions about any of these tequilas or how things work at El Pandillo, comment below, let me know. If there's a tequila out there that you'd like for me to do a review of, comment below, let me know as well. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be doing a big giveaway in our next video, and if you're subscribed, you comment, and you like the videos, you increase your chances of winning, and I really want to see you win, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you click the like button, and make sure you comment below. And until next time, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. Salud.